Hi, this is Mark Middlebrooks, back with another quick video. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about something that a whole lot of people don't like to talk a whole lot about, and that is full documentation loans. Now, since 2008, we have been living in a different world than we were previously to 2008 when it comes to documentation on home financing. Most of us are very used to this at this point. However, there are still a couple of things that I think sometimes we forget to do in order to set our clientele or our buyers up for the most stress-free life that they can live in this full documentation world. The first thing that I see happening from time to time is I see people that are, maybe they're a move-up buyer and they're getting their house ready to list, getting it ready to stage, getting it ready to list, and they put all their stuff away in a storage unit, or maybe they put it at a relative's house. And the documentation ends up in a box at the back corner of that storage unit, or somewhere at the relative's house in the back corner, or a friend's house. And I've seen it with first-time home buyers as well, that maybe they box all their stuff up, getting ready for a move, and maybe that box is in the back corner of a bedroom in their apartment or their rental home. Or at a relative's house or a storage unit. Now, reminding people to keep that at their fingertip is a really good thing to do, because oftentimes when people get busy, this is not something they think of. They don't go through this transaction as much as we go through these transactions on a daily basis. So that's a good reminder. Another thing that I think is a really good proactive measure that can be taken is to make sure that the buyers know that underwriting is going to need all pages of all the documentation. So if your bank statement has pages 1 through 6 of 6, and page 5 and 6 don't necessarily have any good information or any pertinent information to what's happening in your statement, oftentimes people will just take those last 2 pages and recycle them or shred them, which makes sense. However, underwriting is going to need every single page. If it says page 1 of 6, we're going to need all 6 pages. So that's another good reminder. Now, all of these things are the items that the borrower should be going over with their lender, and the lender should definitely be taking the lead here and making sure that the buyer is aware of all of these things and staying proactive there. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's always the case. So sometimes the lender might not be doing their due diligence, and on top of that, it's never really a bad thing to just kind of hit it from both angles, from the real estate agent as well as the lender side, to make sure that the buyers are very well prepared and heading into this process as stress-free as they can. So the last thing that I think is a really good proactive measure that can be taken is to ask that buyer throughout the process. So is your lender getting that updated documentation? Because the lender is going to be needing updated documentation throughout the process. So typically it's just going to be bank statements and pay stubs. Sometimes it might be a few other things, but typically those are the 2 things that are going to need to be updated throughout the process. So asking the buyer if those things are getting over to their lender, if their lender is asking for those things, is something that's a really good question to ask through the process as well. So I hope you found this information helpful, and I will see you soon.